Right, good evening. Another great edition yesterday, bro, was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube this morning. We brought you the biggest update was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, in the afternoon, we weren't able to bring you that one this morning, yeah, midday, I'm broadcasting it to me, fan, bro. But obviously, I'm back here again to bring you the evening update was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, obviously. So, once subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the channel, no, make sure so turn your notification turn, make sure so you do choose all, and in there make sure so share link na so share link, and God bless you so consistently was share link na my na devia oboase na all support was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Obviously there is a lot to unpack, a lot of things to talk about this weekend. There are a lot of games now. We'll start off by the first thing, Enzo Maresca the facts at Cheslsea back. Is Chelsea really back? We'll delve deeper into the analysis of that conversation, and we'll talk about the English Premier League dynamics now. Obviously, like we always do, we'll talk about the Spanish La Liga, Spain, Barca, and Real Madrid first. Then we'll go into the other conversation. Into, of course, one subscriber to the channel. I am entreating you again. Subscribe. Turn your notification, and in there make sure that you do choose all. Not be behind here, come on, and every time that we drop you the content, you are first to have it hours on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Now you're Madrid and against Athletic Bilbao. Obviously, it was a game that we were all expecting that it was going to be a difficult one, but we still did expect that Madrid should be able to win against Bilbao. But obviously, our way at the stand, my man, not a good one. So also again, essentially, it's because of Brent's friend Federico Valverde, right after San Madrid side collides made a mistake, and then they let it go by a bunch of friend Cookers Gurizeta. Just 2 minutes onto it, and I team my friend Athletic Bilbao two goal restoration of 1 goal lead, of course killing Mbappé in your penalty when I think that Mbappé is in a good place. I think that it's been almost a year Mbappé performances now have begun to dwindle. I don't know if a lot of things have gone. A lot of things have gotten to Mbappé. Share time World Cup, Euros, performing all at the Euros. In fact, post of the World Cup, the last days of Messi and Neymar, or Paris Saint-Germain, the issues between Mbappé and Messi and Neymar. Then, of course, time and also Paris Saint-Germain, a brand new parent, there are times where he won't go and play a game. He will come there, then Paris Saint-Germain said they will banish him from the team. All of these things that's happened between Kylian Mbappé and India Paris Saint-Germain, seems to be a bad one. And then Osha Massa anymore, the thing that they are talking about is a warring over there. And what they are saying is that the Mbappé nightmare continues. Now, Massa, some graphic and in that graphic, Massa for say as a born Adam Mbappé in email form. And Mbappé Casache born and say, I don't kind of now. Me not being a penalty, I'm Timmy Bosheno. I feel about the same, and I face the Medina penalty anymore. Need to me more. What's the problem? Don't you remind me? And I think that it is true. Mbappé is really in a tough time. And if you go in front of the front page of Massa, that's like I say, Kylian Mbappé has missed 2 consecutive penalties in just 1 week. Anfield and San Mamés witnessed shots guessed by Carmine Kelleher and your bunch of friend Agi Rezabella. Of course, the name, the back's name, very difficult to pronounce, respectively. Both shots to the same side and at the same height ended up in a goalkeeper's. And then I also Athletic Bilbao for goalkeeper Agi Rezabala. What you're saying is that he watched that Mbappé penalty away at Liverpool and he prepared for it, and he guessed Sabrina friend Kylian Mbappé will go to that side, and he did. And so he was just lucky, said Mbappé MSA star penalty. And I think that he is in a very bad place. And if you listen to what people say, I think the problem in Madrid is not Mbappé, but the midfield department. They are not producing as expected of them. I think Brahim should be back, Bellingham to the 10 position, because he can dribble as much as and create chances from Mbappé. Madrid, if they want a creative outlet, it's Zabrante friend Adagole. It is not Brahim Diaz. Neither is it Abrante your friend Jude Bellingham. It is Adagole. He is the one that has the Midas touch. He is the one that has the creative ability in every part of the field for team my friend Real Madrid. And if Madrid wants to really get that, then they need to go back and then get that. Get that from Abrante your friend Adagole over there. Now, if you look in front of Massa, la conversation de Mbappé con la pelota talking about the conversation between Mbappé and the ball, and it's in Spanish. And if you listen to, if you do the translation, it's essentially Mbappé standing in front of the ball, asking the ball that, don't you remember me? It's me, Kylian Mbappé. I used to score for fun. Why is it that these days when I stand in front of you, I don't get goals? Definitely, it tells you how much of a bad place Real Madrid is in, and obviously also Kylian Mbappé, somebody. And for me, if you analyze the Mbappé conversation proper, whether with data and also with the eye test, you can clearly tell that Mbappé has changed how he plays. This is a Kylian Mbappé player that really used to get in behind consistently. So Mbappé in your ball and as opponent in your ball, Mbappé will look to run in behind. But for some reason, Mbappé is trying to receive the ball to feet, and he's not a dribbler. He's not a kind of player that affects the game or affects the game. Affects the game essentially. To feet, he does it with his pace, with his 1v1 ability. With his directness and his explosiveness ahead of, towards goal. And that's something that Mbappé is really missing at Real Madrid, and I think it's really hurting him. Of course, it's affecting his confidence, and Madrid knows that Kylian Mbappé needs to make some changes in there. For FC Barcelona, 4 points lead restored, and in it, to say the Spanish Federation is saying that big game between Valencia and Real Madrid will be played on the 2nd of January. We remember I said Madrid has an outstanding game. It was supposed to be a game between Madrid and Valencia, but because of the floods in Valencia a couple of weeks ago, AS Darius is reporting that Valencia Real Madrid match is scheduled for the 2nd of January. It's up in the air. It does not respect the holiday period of December 22nd to January 2. The Union AFE must give their approval, and the players have to agree. It has not happened yet in terms of the agreements now, but Madrid and the Valencia game is in the offing and most likely going to come up. Of course, Madrid went back to training. Next week, don't worry. Don't forget that there is Champions League this weekend. There are games as well in the Spanish La Liga and obviously across everywhere. And that's something that Madrid will want to bounce back for. The team FC Barcelona, it's simple. Good wins in the last few days, in the last few hours, against Mallorca, and the fact that Madrid also drop points now. It fits into them, and it makes Barca very, very happy. All of them are back. Rafinha and Nico Martinez as Barca's players that have the most playing time this season under Hansi Flick and could rest in the game against Real Betis this weekend away. Barca has a huge game away at Real Betis. Betis, very, very stubborn side. Do not forget, coached by former Manchester City and Real Madrid manager over the very, very important game in a conversation of the La Liga. January, Barca need to find money to try and augment their squad, to try and get some more players into their team. It looks as if Barca first have to do the registration of a branch of Dani Olmo, who has been very important. In fact, Dani Olmo able as a tenor, rotations every time with Pedri has been spot on. Again, when he's playing as a 10, he does a lot of very good special occupation and central occupation. He's able to receive the ball on the half 10 and in the half space to be able to affect the game. He's able to receive the ball on the half 10 and then find a Brantia and your friend Robert Lewandowski running in behind and then playing the ball to feet sometimes also. He's also able to utilize the runs of a Brantia friend Rafinha. Of course, the fact that he's a very athletic player, he does it so well. And it's the same for Pau Victor, another player that Madrid, Barca are looking to, give very, very good, do the registration again in January. And then also there's going to be that one for the contract extension for Gavi and Pedri. I've said it several times, said Barca do not play with Pedri and Gavi. These are two boys that seem to be top notch. The conversation of the game. When you look at Pedri, when you look at Gavi, when you look at what they do for Barca on and off the field, on and off the ball. Especially for Gavi, I've said several times, Gavi is more box to box than anything. And Pedri, the creative, can play also deeper as a deep line playmaker next to Marc Caicedo, who is really the controller. No? And Barca are saying they want to give them a huge contract extension when January comes through and he wants to get a job done. So and of course, Dani Olmo, January 18, they are going to do the registration for Abrantia Fenix, Dani Olmo. Over the one lap water and former Barca player Liam Thuram will join forces in December 9th for Spotify Camp Nou for the launch of UNESCO's Fit for Life network against racism. This initiative unites athletes, organizations, and experts to combat racism and promote inclusion. Globally for team friend Barca. Barcelona expects to receive around 200 million for the sale of Spotify Camp Nou's VIP seats for the next 20 years. Real Madrid and other top European clubs have already done this to be able to get money to inject into the club for team my friend FC Barcelona. Barca wants to do that and then make sure say Maresca in January to do a lot in terms of putting the money back into Barca. Of course, and now Mundo Deportivo reported said Ko Blanco, talking about the white knockout. Yesterday, what happened between Madrid and team your friend Athletic Bilbao. Of course, Sport and Sweeney Monono. They also spoke about Mbappe's penalty. Not a good time at all. Not a good time for team your friend Real Madrid, team your friend Real Madrid, and everything that's going on in there. Over there, of course, at Chelsea this weekend. Chelsea were big game against against Tottenham Hotspur, and it is in this that journalists they went to ask Tottenham Hotspur's manager Ange Postecoglou about Chelsea project. Ange Postecoglou can say me. I think I agree with him. To an extent. Ange explains says also Chelsea model now. Chelsea are going with young players. It makes sense. A lot of people probably do not agree that Chelsea should go with that model was because at the time it was not done before. He also goes on to explain, said, these players are young, they've not really done anything. That's why most of the teams will say that you need some experience attached to them. Now, Osan Kaka said, this model will work out in any club, especially like a club for the caliber of Chelsea, then you need to buy them in volumes. And you're needing at Chelsea top players now in a very, very large volume. To be able to make sure that these players who consistently are performing on the highest level. These players know everything about. Then let me read to you what Ange Postecoglou said. He said, the theory, yes, the reality, you also got what you're looking at. There is relevance to the expenditure there as well. They have got some serious talent, but whether they all kind of fulfill their potential is unknown. So I think that's why most of the clubs don't go young, because they kind of feel like you need some experience, some guiding through that and guiding through that process of the players' development. So in theory, it's probably the way to go. I believe when you are building a side, but it's always not the same unless you have a sheer volume of numbers, which to be fair, Chelsea does. So if the 2 or 3 don't, then kind of make it through. You've got enough there. I don't think we are honestly in the same boat in terms of numbers. So with us would mean that that at all once you sign are all going to end up fulfilling their potentials. And what Ange Postecoglou was saying essentially, he said, it's not clear says who signing young players they will succeed. And in theory, when you go like that, they're able to build a bond with time, they grow, they succeed together, they go through the hard times together, they learn, they unlearn, they blend, and they become a close-knitted group that have succeeded in whatever that they want to do, which makes a lot of sense. It is an excellent thing to do. Now, when you look away from that, the rich are that you need to buy more, because Senegal said 1 or 2 beyond succeeded, you have about 4 or 5 of them that are succeeding. But I'll not say, because you cannot particularly, and yet certain say young player be able to fulfill their dreams or fulfill their potential. That's why a lot of clubs don't go on that tangent, which makes a lot of sense in terms of how players want to play, in terms of how what players will get from teams and games like that. So he understands Chelsea are going that way, but they are not on that level. He said Tottenham must be any star level with him, and he needs time. They need to buy experience. And they can blend with their team. And then Caicedo where an interview with an Ecuadorian radio station over the from Dario Ole, Ecuador. And then Caicedo he spoke about a lot of things. And it puts you into the mindset of Caicedo. It puts you into the mindset of what a young player has gone through and how, after one season, he has taken the English Premier League by storm and he's performing consistently. He's doing everything that he has to do. Makani several times said, if you look at Moises Caicedo, he's more of the box-to-box of the 3 midfielders. I've said several times that those 3 midfielders can play together. It's really about the structure and how you want to use them. It's really about where and what you want them to do with and without the ball. And you've seen it several times against Aston Villa where all of these 3 players were there. Caicedo coming out as an inverted right back, coming in the middle of the park next to Romeo Lavia. Then Enzo Fernandez being the floating 10 who does the +1 job. And Makani several times said, one of the things about positional play is that because players are supposed to be fixated in certain zones on the field of play, you need some level of fluidity as well. You need some level, Ange Postecoglou calls it the fluid rigidity. There's a structure. the structure is rigid. Everybody's supposed to be in a certain zone. Everybody's supposed to play in a particular way. But it's supposed to be a little bit fluid as well, where there is always the plus one. Somebody comes in the certain zone, picks up the ball in that zone, come to play the combination pass. That's the plus one in this area. It's very important. And we've seen several times Enzo Fernandez has been used for that in build-up when Lavia and Caicedo are playing in that regard. And then Caicedo interview, he was being asked about, say, this season a revenge at Chelsea. And one thing I've liked about Chelsea players in this season is the mentality of the team. The last time I was telling you about Cole Palmer, how a journalist asked him, say, Chelsea or character race, man, I'm not saying, please, it's too early. I mean, you could tell from his face that he is not going to entertain any of those talks about winning or not winning. It's about mentality. It's about not getting ahead of yourself. Yes, you are playing well, but then really, you would want to have a consistent set of results. And like I said, it's at the very earliest in March. And I'll be to make a proper juxtaposition of where you are and where you are going to, and then say that, okay, fine, we have a very good chance, at this shot of winning the English Premier League or not, or we are not. And I like the fact that Chelsea players are doing like that. And in this one, Caicedo was asked about the fact, say, this season, a revenge at Chelsea. And I saying a revenge. And I say, when Caicedo kind, also, we don't take it as a revenge, but we are focused on being at the top. We know that the Premier League is complicated and long. We are up and fighting in every game. We are a very young team, but we really want to start winning something beautiful with a club. I mean, talking about Chelsea Tino and what he wants to do. Talking about the fact that it's not revenge. Last season, it was just not good. It was a blip. It was a hard time. This season, things are going on well. We are getting results. But yes, we are a young team. But irrespective of the fact that we are a very young team, still, as a player person or GBB, as a player person who really BB, so they push themselves. If it comes great, there's a Conference League, there is a FA Cup. And even, I mean, as an outlier, remotely, there is also an English Premier League that is worth fighting for. So they will constantly want to be in the conversation. I believe somewhere in February, March, and for me, it's more March than anything. Then when the next international break comes, then Chelsea can really tell, okay, we are there or we are not there. How can we really, get results, a bigger results standard? Can we really say that we are fighting for the English Premier League or not? That's one of the main things that Chelsea would have talked about. Don't be sad about the early struggles at Chelsea last season. See, a lot of the things that cost me because I had the pressure of being the new N'Golo Conte. That affected me a lot. But when I put that behind me, I started to focus only on helping my team and proving that I am worth what they paid for my transfer. And I think that truly, Caicedo looks like he has been a focused man. I mean, if you look at the times from that, you compare Caicedo's performance from last season at Chelsea and then this season and how good he has been. Also, I think that the manager is very, very important in the conversation of Caicedo because last season, Caicedo was asked to cover large ground. Obviously, there was the absence of Romeo Lavia. And of course, Enzo Fernandez was also able to cover as much defensively. So Caicedo had to be doing all of that job in there almost every time and also cover large grounds. And it's not really his strength. He's more box to box. But he needs somebody with a explicit defensive awareness and and that's what Romeo Lavia comes in. I mean, he's good, he's press resistant, he can play from the back. That's his attributes on the ball. Without the ball, he is very, very defensively aware. He's always stuck on, he's always switched on. So make sure, anytime there is a press, there is a counter press, anytime there's a ball that somebody has to turn over or no, Arantia, your friend Romeo Lavia is able to do stuff like that and is able to get those results. He was asked, Caicedo, I'm totally adapted to the Premier League. I have to keep going like this, showing every game so that people continue to see the same voices and know that I have no limit. That's my mentality. I have no limit. I want to keep trying very hard so that people see what I'm made of. I try to do it in every training session, in every game, and people can see it over there. Caicedo talking about, any of the Chelsea players know what he can do and how things can go on. And like I said earlier, really, if you look at Caicedo, Lavia will give Caicedo a lot of freedom. Enzo Fernandez in the game against Southampton, you could tell because he is solid, he can play. He's a very, very good player. He has improved his defensive awareness, what he does on and off the ball. That's also giving some leeway to Caicedo. Sometimes to have a rest, to have a breather. Enzo Fernandez can be there. Caicedo spoke about the three midfielders as well. I say Enzo is doing things very well, and that is very good for him. He should continue like this. He's a very important player for us. He helps us a lot in every game, and so is Romeo. I'm very happy with what we are doing and the whole group. is doing. I'm very excited of them. Spoke about, I mean, other colleagues, you know, and I think that Caicedo is right because Enzo has really developed. I mean, in the last few games where Enzo Maresca benching, you know, he has come back and he has really developed with everything, especially off the ball. And I know it's not just me. For a lot of people, now on him says Enzo Fernandez without the ball every time. Not adding. I mean, most of the teams know a dribble past him. One channel easy. I'm from one fan. But like on team defend or he'll just take out a leg. He wasn't doing those things better. Now, after Enzo Maresca demanded more from him, pushed him, asked questions of him, benched him, asked him to improve his out of possession, responsibilities. No? You can really tell that Enzo Fernandez is doing what you can tell. I mean, without the ball, he has been solid, he has been spot on, and you can tell from the things that he's doing. And I like that for Abranche friend Enzo Fernandez. And then, of course, Abranche friend Romeo Lavia to it. It's excellent. Somebody that adds a lot of athleticism to the team, a lot of combativeness, a lot of aggression to his play. With the technical ability of Enzo Fernandez, I mean, the house paces and stuff like that. So it is just super for a team like Chelsea. And I think that it's very important that Chelsea are playing well. Of course, this weekend, Chelsea against team your friend Tottenham Hotspur, a very, very, very difficult game. And at Chelsea against Ange Postecoglou side. No, I mean, last season Chelsea went away to go and play against Tottenham Hotspur. Inside game, no, Chelsea won by 4 goals over there. I mean, after sending Tottenham Hotspur, they catch the first one. Chelsea had to react and get a goals in there. I don't think that Chelsea will play in the same way like they did against Southampton. It's going to be more measured. It's going to be more not as rudimentary as we would expect it to be. A little bit more difficult, a little bit more preparation because Tottenham Hotspur side will take it or leave it. Yes, they are inconsistent, but they are a side that you will not joke with. They are a side that you know that they can really hurt you if you give them the chance. And Chelsea shape on the ball against team, my friend Southampton was, a 3-2, but then the 3-2 was with the goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen. And I think that Philip was so calm, cool, and collected over a cheer. And then they had 4 midfielders in the middle of the park. There was Caicedo, there was Enzo, there was Malo Gusto who had inverted to the middle of the park. There was also Marco Correa before he went out to go and keep the weight on the other side. I mean, for Abantia, your friend is Joao Felix over there. And it was a very, very important and novel way of playing, especially against a team like Southampton or Honham. Like I said, Chelsea are truly back. I mean, I've seen on Premier League India where they are saying that Chelsea are back, and I think that is true. If you listen to Enzo Maresca, he did say Chelsea are back winning games where they've been, the number of points they've accrued compared to last season, how high they've been, their XGs, their goal-to-game ratio. I mean, everything seems to be going on well for Chelsea Football Club, and I think that that's good. And one player that last night I didn't really talk about, Erabante Feni Jadon Sancho. For me, it was important, super important. Jadon Sancho, what he was able to do for the team. I mean, how you look at Jadon's influence on the team. So free Manchester United, and all the toxicity around him. And for me, another player that I question, but again, that's why the sporting directors are being paid how much they pay. Essential about breaking down low blocks. And every time Chelsea about to break low blocks, and there's Jadon Sancho, he gets the job done. When Chelsea went away to heading him, he was stopped. And then against Southampton, the dynamics where Southampton were really being stubborn and Chelsea needed to finish it off. He came in, and I like his interview where he says that he's excited. He's happy that the Chelsea fans are happy. But the thing is that for him personally, he was happy that for the very first time he shot at goal. Because assist when you have a chance to pass, he would like to make an assist and stuff like that. But this time he decided to shoot at goal. He did shoot a goal, and then he got a result. He got his goal, which is a very, very good one for him. So an exciting time for Jadon Sancho, especially for a player who had come from Manchester United, and things hadn't really gone on well for him over there. Now, when everybody was scoring, I'm sure Nicolas Jackson would have loved to be on to also get a goal. If you go to whoscoredwho.com, most Premier League goals and assists since Cole Palmer made his Chelsea debut, since September 2023, 48 goals contribution for Cole Palmer, Mohamed Salah 46, Erling Haaland 42, Ole Watkins 40, Bukayo Saka 38. It tells you how much of a solid former Abantia, your friend Cole Palmer, is in at Chelsea Football Club. He has been very, very instrumental for everything that Chelsea have been doing this season. This is where we draw the curtain on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Tonight's edition will come back to you tomorrow morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. It's a holiday in Ghana, but consistently we bring you the updates. Subscribe to the channel if you've not, turn on notification, and in the notification turning, make sure that you don't choose all. Bye-bye.